Just eat that, you'll be a very big.
I use Real Player to download videos, and sometimes a video may have a sound clip in it, and I may want to sample it. So today I downloaded a music video. It's from AniBoom Animation by IBC Digital. It's called "You Are What You Eat," and I'm gonna sample it. I'm gonna show you how I sample it, and I'm gonna give you tips on how to sample it. As soon as you find your sound file, your video file, you convert it to an MP3. There are a lot of different converters online that you can use. The converter I use is 3GP. I converted it to 192 44 kilohertz. Okay. 16-bit. I hope that's correct. Okay. Other than that, I load up the MP3 into my music editor software, which is Cool Edit Pro. After I load it up, I find my cue points. I make my own cue points. I listen to the beginning first. I find the cue points I'm satisfied with, and then I loop it. And I loop it periodically. I control C it, control N it, press enter twice because I already have everything preset for my sample rate. And that's how I bake my samples. And then after that, I save all my samples at once by pressing X at the top, and it's gonna ask me, "Hey, do you want to save these?" "Oh yeah, I do want to save these." "Okay, save all." "Yes, yes to all." I just ate some peanut butter. Ugh, it's pretty good. Other than that, I just copy and make my cue points by Control C. I usually don't listen to it, but sometimes I do. It depends. Depends on if it's a really bad loop. Sometimes a loop can cut in too much or be too long. So the reason why it's going so slow is because I'm burning a DVD. I'm trying to multitask here, you know what I'm saying? Since I'm bored with trying to burn this DVD, what I might end up doing is just stopping this video and just saying, I don't want to do it. Golly, my computer really froze. Okay. Control N, sample rate 44 kilohertz, and the resolution is 16-bit, and it's in stereo. Alright, then Control V it, which means pasting it, and then finally listen to it to see if it's on point. It's not on point. It's not on point. See, look, listen to it. Now it's on point. Alright, let's loop it. That still isn't on point. Alright, we find our cue points now. And we can trim it. Control T. Then once you find your cue points, you can find your length point, or how long the actual loop is, so you can figure out how long the other loops are. So you go back to your original mix and you find where to start from, your cue point. So you find that cue point and you zoom in to see how much you have to cut in. So you place the link down, press enter, press the spacebar button since the button is already pressed for the loop. It cuts in a little bit, so you have to take it from the ending. And then after that, you copy it, Control N it, Control V it, and it's paste. It's all paste. And then after that, everything is a piece of cake. You sample how much you want to sample and how much you want to use. Alright. Now, I'm just going to use this as a sample, because usually I speed up my samples just to save memory. Something I learned from a magazine after I started using it. The reason being is because when I first started sampling, I was sampling on my own. I would start from a snare, I start from a kick, I start from a hi-hat. and I will sample that way, but I'll still make it a loop point. And other than that, once I read it in the XXL magazine, and the RZA was like, yeah, speed up my samples just to save memory, I was like, cool, I do the same thing. That was pretty cool. But he's the type of person that doesn't give away his DJ techniques, production techniques. But for some reason, he had an interview and he spoke his words. Other than that, I try not to give anything away. I try to remember everything, so I wouldn't have to explain it.
You are what you eat. You are what you eat. You are what you eat. You are.
After that, you just copy and paste periodically. You find any loop point you want. You can start from a snare or kick, like I've been saying.
All I eat is candy. All I eat is pie.
You just eat that, you'll be a very big guy.
But I like to eat meat and I like to eat fish.
When you chew on your food, you go squish, squish, squish.
You are.
That sounded pretty cool. You go squish, squish, squish. Alright, you keep finding your length point, your loop point. After you find your length point and your loop point, you have enough samples. Oh, that sample is pretty long. Longer than usual.
All I eat is candy. All I eat is pie.
You just eat that, you'll be a very big guy.
But I like. All I eat is candy. All I eat is pie.
You just eat.
You are what you eat.
Like to eat. Like to eat. Like to eat. Like to eat meat and I like to eat fish.
When you chew on your food, you go squish, squish, squish.
Like to eat meat and I like to eat fish.
When you chew on your food, you go squish, squish, squish.
Sometimes the length point doesn't match the loop point. And sometimes you may have to stretch the cursors. The start and the point and the finishing point. But sometimes I don't do it. Because I really don't care. But I know sometimes that I want my music to sound good, so I go back and rework it sometimes.
You are what you eat. 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 Drink your milk. Eat your
But
cheese.
don't eat too much cheese, you can probably need.
What am I sampling, man? I can sample this and make it hot, or I can sample it the regular way. I'm just making samples right now.
You are what you eat. You are what you eat. You are what you eat.
I know exactly what I'm doing. Wow. You're a genius. You're not really a genius. Just know what you're doing. Golly.
You are what you eat. You are what you eat. You are what you eat.
The part I'm gonna sample next is the part where he's talking about cheese. Cheese.
Drink your milk.
Drink your milk.
Drink your milk. Eat your
But
cheese.
don't eat too much cheese, you can probably need.
Drink your milk.
Drink your milk. Drink your milk. Alright, I have enough samples. What I'm gonna do now. Okay, that's my deep burner. I'll make that later. I'll show you how to make deep burner CDs later on my blog channel. Alright, what you do, you bring your cursor and then you close all of them and you press yes to all because you want to save all of them. Something that people don't really understand when they're making samples. Alright, I have a rock folder, so I'm going to save it in rock. It's called You Are What You Eat. You are what you eat. Okay. I just keep pressing save and keep pressing enter since it's highlighted. I'm showing you exactly so you won't come with me, oh crap. I pressed the wrong button. Anywho's, everything's still saved in the cursor so I can keep pressing enter. Alright, we all make mistakes, right? Some people don't, some people are perfect. Anyways, let's bring up FL Studio 9 and I'm about to say Fruity Loops. FL Studio 9 and let's make this particular sample into a beat with Making Peace with G7, Making Peace with G7, G7, Making Peace with G7. You are what you eat. I'm eating peanut butter. You are what you eat. Alright. Let's find our samples. It should be in our browser. It should be under a rock folder. Name you are what you eat. Okay.
Crank your milk, eat your cheese, but don't eat too much cheese, you can probably sneeze. Crank your milk, eat your cheese, but don't eat too much cheese, you can probably sneeze. Crank your milk, eat your cheese.
Drink your milk. Eat your cheese. You get wobbly knees. I'm moving kind of quick because from my last video I explained everything that I'm doing. Please watch that video, even though it's 20 minutes long. Watch that video if you want to know exactly what I'm doing instead of saying, "Gee, you're moving too quick, dog. You're moving too quick, dog, man. Come on, dog, dude, you're moving too quick, dude." Okay. All right, I placed everything in slice and I got it on normal, but I'm gonna go back in and rework it in the piano roll. All right. I have my preset drums that I like to use. I call them G7 drums, which is a compilation of 8-bit MPC drums, analog beats, Atari 2600 percussion samples, Dre drums, JD drums, Kanye West drums, tech loops from record.org, same ones from record.org, they're called Monkey, or they're either from Loop Masters or some other company that makes loops for people. Neptunium drums. I got most of these drums that sound like they're from other artists, from my friends. I got it from Darren because I gave him a lot of drums. I already had drums preset. I gave him the Timberland's best drums, and what I'll be using is the Timberland best drums. All right, let me check and choose which ones I want to use. Okay, I have plenty of them, so I'll be able to use that. I'm gonna pick a kick to use. All right, that sounds great. All right, let's pick a hi-hat. For some reason it went out of balance, so I go over here and I choose it. Since I'm using a sampler, I can choose it. All right, let's assign each channel and let's get to work. The last thing I was talking about was placing it all in a particular piano roll, the sample, so I can make my sample the way I want to. I got it too spacey in the cut up. I got it too lengthy. People are viewing my profile. Thank you. Alright, let's get this done. I just cut it even further so it can be more samples, so I can play around with it more. Well, you can sample any way you want and add the drums any way you want, because it's your beat. You're making beats with G7 the beat maker, which means you don't have any rules. You're original. You don't have to copy anybody. And then as soon as I have like my chorus, this is like my chorus right here, if I was making a song, all I do is just copy it and replace it and make the samples cuts the same way and bring up like the parts where it had like a little melody in it.
You are what you eat.
Now that part has a lot to it, so I'm gonna cut it up the same way. But since it has like more instruments in it, I'm gonna use it. It's like part of the verse, and I can cut the vocals out. But you know, I really don't, because I like having some vocals in my music when I'm rapping over it, and or when I'm giving it to another artist, because I give my beats away for free, you know. Other than that, I'm gonna sample like another part and make it lengthier, like the beginning part where it's just the piano going and the guitar, so it can sound more like a song. And I'm gonna go to playlist, stretch it a little bit, just 2 bars, and flatten it, and go back to it and take some of the drums out, because I got the drums sporadic, you know. I could have it like just one variation, but other than that, let's cut this part since it has vocals in it, and then have the second part in there that I stretch over out of it too, so it could just be one plain one. After that, what I normally do, I copy the portions I wanted for like my verse part, and I press 2 to go to the second panel, and I place it. Or I can either go here and place clone and then erase the part that I don't want to keep. But since I've done it my way, which was copy and do it, I go back to the first part and I take the parts out that I didn't want to keep, like I cloned it or something. So I click the cut button on that one, which is Ctrl X, and I listen to it. The only thing that I do that's different is I just take the hi-hats out, or I keep them in. So I just clone them, take the hi-hats out, and that's it. Or I go to the third pattern and I clone it, and I take the hi-hats out, and then I go back and listen to it like it's a hip-hop record. Or what I do, I make another clone and I go back and I make an intro, like I would when I was in which grade? Like I was in 8th grade, making beats on the keyboard. Make a little intro. Oh, I did the intro wrong. Okay, now I did it right. Okay, so after that, I clone it again and take like a big portion of like the sample, so it could be a part of the intro.
You are what you eat. I like to eat meat, and I like to eat fish. When you chew on your food, you go squish, squish, squish. All I eat is candy. All I eat is pop.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that one in there because it sounds generic. And I just clone the first part of the whole lengthy, flattened down portion of the 2 measures or 4 measures together, and I'll Control V it after I Control X it, which means cut it and then paste it. So then after it's cut and paste, I put it on song mode and I save it. Something I should have done as soon as I started making the beat. Let me see where I saved it. Let's save it in my videos. Okay. What's this one? Sampling on G7, making the beat. Making beats with G7. Sampling on making beats with G7. I keep calling it troll. I say troll. I keep calling the show Making Beats with G7. No, I say that wrong. I keep calling the show G7 Making the Beat, but it's called Making the Beat with G7. Alright, I saved it, sampling on Making Beats with G7. Now let's listen to it finally.
Just eat that. You'll be a very big.
Too much cheese, too much cheese.
can expand and have as many samples as you want in your sample beat. But me, I like to keep it simple. Reason being is because I'm not getting paid to give away beats. Now my actual beats, my G7 beats, will run you $150. You don't want to pay $150. You would rather rap over something real simple, right? So I don't add anything else to it. And I just export it and I say, here, you can have it. Oh, my beats sounded too loopy, man. Because you ain't pay for your fucking beat. Golly. Pay for your shit, man. If you want to make it, pay for your shit. Pay for your copyright. Pay for your beat. Pay for your studio time. Pay to have a record company. Pay for your shit. Other than that, thanks for watching, and please subscribe to G7 the Beatmaker. And until next time, people I enjoy watching, AniBoom. They have a great channel. That's where I got this particular video MP3 from. Subscribe to my main channel, NC17ATNCU. And subscribe to Dodger, because I like watching her videos. And she has a new camera, if you haven't seen that new video. And what's some other people I like watching? Nathan Barnett. I think that's the last ones I like to watch. Alright, until next time. Subscribe.
Alright. Too much cheese. You can call me much. You are what you eat. Much. You are what